the Town Council of Trafalgar meeting to order. At this time, I'll take roll call. Mike Peters.
Present.
Ashley Cheney. Here. Jason Ramey and Jackie Bryant are absent. Town Attorney Jacob Bowman.
Here.
And Clerk Treasurer Donna Moore. Here. All right, with that, I invite anyone who would like to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. At this time, I will open for public reports from the audience. Anyone online or in person may stand at this time, giving their name, address, and they may have up to 15 minutes cumulative of the public to speak.
Is this the meeting or like?
This is the town council meeting.
Yep.
Haven't hit the budget hearing yet.
Yeah.
There'll be another opportunity on budget hearing. Just general reports from the public.
Yep, general reports. All right, hearing none, we will move forward with Mr. Jim Higgins from LWG Advisors.
Thank you. My name is Jim Higgins. I'm a partner with LWG CPA and Advisors in Indianapolis. Donna had asked me to come before you this evening and give a brief overview of some of the impacts of Senate Enrolled Act 1, which is the bill that grants property tax relief first and foremost to citizens, and then over time, between now and 2030, we'll make other changes relative to property tax and income tax. So I provided you with two pieces of information in your packet. The first, I take no credit for. It is a presentation that was given by the Department of Local Government Finance at the Clerk Treasurer's School back in August. And I took only the pertinent parts that apply to the property tax piece of Senate Enrolled Act 1. And so what it does, in a nutshell, is it changes a lot of the credits that were deductions for things like being over 65 or veterans deductions that were reductions in assessed values that we were able as property owners to request and turn them into credits. And so the difference between a deduction and a credit is the deduction lowers your assessed value, which is the basis for which your property taxes are based. A credit comes after the fact, and these credits, not only are they reductions in the actual property taxes that you would pay, but they're after any circuit breaker credits. So first the circuit breaker credits applied, and then the credits come off as additions. And so what you see in the first handout that I did, the two-page Excel sheet that was in a PDF, is a comparison for 2026 what that circuit breaker credit looks like. Currently, the 2025 maximum levy, and this is excluding the CCD fund of the town because that's a rate-controlled fund outside of the levy, is $396,000. You're eligible for a 4% levy growth, which would generate for the town for 2026 an additional $15,852 of property tax revenue. So that's your revenue growth that's projected for 2026. The circuit breaker that the town experienced for 2025 was $4,986, just under $5,000. For 2026, that circuit breaker credit, which is now all of the credits, right, the existing 1%, 2%, 3% cap, and these new credits that were created as part of Senate Enrolled Act 1, grows to $49,000. That's a big difference. It's a difference of $44,000. So you're getting a $4,000 or $5,000 or $15,000, I'm sorry, a $15,000 increase in revenue from your levy growth, and an additional $44,000 of loss. So net, you will start 2026 with $28,000 less in property taxes from the get-go, right? And that won't get better over time. That's kind of going to be here to stay. Part of that is why, and it comes up later in the meeting, the town's eligible to apply for an excess levy appeal because your growth has been greater than the 3-year statewide average of assessed value. That would generate for you an additional levy of about $33,000. If you pursue that and it's granted, that would put you in a net position of a $5,000 net increase overall. Your normal levy growth plus the excess levy appeal less the circuit breaker credits. And this is all because of these credits and this 10% or $300 credit that the governor had as part of Senate Enrolled Act 1. So any property owner that has a homestead, after all the taxes are computed and you get down to your net number, will get an additional 10% or $300, whichever is less, off of their property tax bill. That circuit breaker or that credit is going to be shared by all the taxing communities. So the town, the county, the library, the township, the school will all share in that. Well, your levy or your tax rate as it relates to all the tax rates that get applied to properties in Trafalgar, it's roughly 22%. So that $300 credit you're going to get on your property, about $77 to $78, depending on which taxing district you're in the town, is going to be borne by this body. And so that's why the levy growth grows. All right, so that's the first piece. The second piece that's coming, and it's still 2 years down the road, but I want to make you aware of it, is local option income tax as it exists today under the rule goes away in 2028. And so those are all taken out, and the county will have an opportunity to impose new local income taxes. Some cities and towns also have the option to adopt local taxes if their population is greater than 5,000 or 3,500. You're not at 3,500, so you're at the mercy of the county to adopt those increased rates. The second box that I include there shows that you get today in 2026 an estimated $334,000 of local income taxes through certified shares and through your local income tax for edit. That all goes away for 2028. You can adopt, the county can adopt on your behalf a 1.2% income tax. Well, your edit tax is basically 0.25%. So if you take that number and factor it out to what it would generate at 1.2, it would generate $334,000. It's basically just a replacement. When they sold Senate Enrolled Act 1, what they said was, well, you're going to lose property tax revenue, and we understand that, but you're going to be able to raise an income tax to make up for it. We are not, because you're not raising a new additional income tax. The income tax they're going to allow you or the county to put on the plate is just replacing what you're losing. That's going to be a break even. So the bottom line that you have to start preparing for is you're going to be asked to do more with less. And it will take some creativity going into future budgets. It's not that bad for 2026, but as you look at 2027 and beyond, it could get worse. Now, the only benefit is there are 2 more legislative sessions before a lot of this goes into effect. They're going to meet maybe starting in November for the short session, and if they stay in for a while, that's great, but they'll be out by the 1st of March. And then next year's a budget cycle, they'll be there for the entirety. The third thing that happens, and I think it's on the flip side, there's a change in how assessments work and the homestead credits. And so a $200,000 home today, if it's a homestead, would have a net assessed value of just under $99,000 by the time you take a homestead credit and a supplemental homestead credit. Over the next 5 years, those percentages are going to change, and the end result is, instead of a net 30% or 35% deduction, it's going to be 67%. So a $200,000 home is going to assess at $66,000. We're going to shrink the assessed value. Not only are we going to do that for homesteads, but we're going to do that for residential non-homesteads. So if you have a second piece of property or a rental property or agricultural land, in the past you weren't given any credits, you're going to start to get credits. And that's going to amount to a 30% reduction in assessed value. What this does is it shrinks your assessed value. So in order to generate the same amount of tax levy with a lower assessed value, you have to raise tax rates. And so we as taxpayers, you as taxpayers, will pay a higher tax on a lower value. I don't know what that equates to over time, because things will change between now and then. But needless to say, as the rates continue to rise, circuit breakers will increase, which goes back to the first page, that you'll have more loss. So I don't know where this self-fulfilling prophecy ends down the road, other than we're going to have a smaller tax base to tax on, because we're giving more deductions, we're eliminating certain business personal property, and where that will have an impact by reducing your tax base by a third is your cum fund rate, because that's a nickel on every 100. So assume that you're going to, lose money in the next 5 years over your cum cap rate, which will be another hit to your bottom line, which will be about $20,000 less in 2030 than what you're generating now. None of it's good news.
I was gonna tell you that.
I
I
wish I
mean-
could stand here and tell you good news, but again, the idea is, the legislature thinks, and the governor thinks, that, they've got a handle on property taxes. And so they're gonna grant some relief. I think for most taxpayers, they're gonna find that they're gonna see a little bit of property tax relief, that the state will take credit.
Somewhere else.
But we're gonna see increased income taxes, and we're gonna see increased wheel taxes. And at the end of the day, the average Hoosier, I think, is gonna pay out more money, net. It's just gonna be, I'm paying more income tax than, right? Or I'm gonna pay higher utility fees or higher trash fees, or I'm gonna pay more for a building permit or some other service, or I'm gonna have a service that I'm currently getting that's gonna go away.
That's exactly what they did, is they shifted the blame to us to have to go after the 1.2%.
This is live streamed, and I hate when I do this, but I'm old enough now that I'll do it. I think what happens at the end of the day is you're gonna have citizens complain that my taxes went up, my income tax went up. Well, that's not us. Your county council did that. Your local unit of government did that. We gave you property tax relief, but that property tax relief is this much. And if you're earning income, if you are an income earner, you are gonna pay more. Now, I think there are some people that net retirees, very well, that are on fixed or limited incomes will probably see a true savings. I think that's true. Because they're
And
gonna
they
get property
raised
tax relief, and they don't have a lot of income that they'll see an additional tax on, but
And they raised that limit, right,
the over 65 credit,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
not only did they raise it and they converted it to a credit, but there's an inflation escalator that happens every year by the Consumer Price Index. So when they say now it's $70,000 for a couple, that's the income limit. If you're under that, you get the credit.
Mm-hmm.
It goes up every year based on the CPI, so they never have to go back and move that number again.
That's good.
So
That's
it
very
is,
good.
it is great news for a taxpayer to control property taxes. It is not great news for you because 50% of your revenue that comes in is property tax. The other 50% comes from fees and state distributions. And I don't see the state opening up their checkbook to write you any checks.
They're already removing grants off the table.
Yes. So that's the overview. I think things will change. I think things will change over the next 2 sessions. I'm not sure how much of that is good news. Because I think when they ended the last session, they said they didn't do enough.
Enough damage?
They didn't do enough relief. They didn't think the $300 was enough. And
But
again,
see, to people, all they hear is, we get tax break on our.
yes, and that's true. They'll
Yeah,
see,
they're
but,
gonna get it.
but you've got to provide service.
Right.
You do, the county does, the township does, a fire district does, a school corporation does. And
Makes us the bad guys.
that stuff all costs money. So I don't know what the answer is. Hopefully over the next 2 sessions, they figure it out and they kind of write that course, but I don't see anything happening immediately.
For us to go for that 1-2%, that would be, we would have to do public hearing and
Well,
that whole
I think
thing.
all you have to do is petition the county, because
Okay.
you can't adopt,
It has to be the
right,
county.
Greenwood could, Franklin could, because they have population. You don't. So you are going to have to pass, and they haven't kind of finalized the rule, but I think you would have to petition the county.
Okay.
The county would have to put the income tax into place.
Got it.
And they have the ability to pass an income tax of their own. So you can have a maximum new local income tax of 2.7%.
And that's the one that's expected to possibly go into play by 2028.
It'll be voted on in 2028, or 2027 to go into effect in 2028.
Okay.
And those will happen right before the next municipal election.
Got it.
Which, again, local officials aren't really thrilled about having to raise local taxes in September before November election. And again, I think the income tax is kind of a moot point, because all you're doing is replacing an existing tax
Right.
that you've got.
But people won't see it that way.
No, no.
All right.
So that's my overview. I'm happy to take any questions now or in the future, but I did this for the folks down in Princess Lake, because I live down there now, and Donna happened to be live, or watching that live stream and said, oh, I think our council's interested, can you come up?
Thank
know,
you, Donna.
And do that kind of overview.
Question then.
Yes.
I think, if I remember correctly, possibly 2018 maybe, you did an evaluation of the town and kind of where financially we would sit.
Yes.
Which this is great, thank you. This helps a lot for us to kind of know where we're gonna look next year. Do you offer the services to kind of do a broad oversight of everything? Like
Yes.
from our income to, or not income, that's the wrong verbiage for the town, but from what's being received versus what we have going out and kind of see where.
Yes, and there are folks out there now that are doing this. This is what
Yeah.
drove the conversation in Princess Lake. And they're going through and doing like parcel by parcel analysis to figure out exactly what the loss is between now and 2030.
Okay.
My issue with that is these communities are spending a lot of money
I was gonna say, yeah.
for something that hasn't happened yet and is most likely going to change.
So my thought process, and they can speak up too, is evaluate where we are now, and then we can take this possible, into that calculation later, but at least know where we're at right now.
Right.
I think we've done a great job the last few years being, better with financials and making sure we're on the right track. I will say this past year or 2 years, I think we've done a little bit more damage, but all necessary things. So I think it would be worth it for us to kind of look into to see it.
Well, there are a couple things in your favor as well. You're a growing community. But they took away the levy appeal, so this is the last opportunity you have to ask for a levy appeal
Yeah.
for growth. And so I would fully advise you to take advantage of that going into this last session, and seek that levy appeal. Because it will make 2026 a little less painful, and it will help in the pursuing years. Janet still helps you with your budget? So Janet Alexander, who does budget work, is fantastic, right? And so you don't need to recreate that wheel, but I think you could take some of her numbers and project them forward
Okay.
to show, and then we would see, ideally, what I've told people, and this is what I told Princess Lake, is we should look at, after this coming session, right, when they're done, if they've done any tweaks or damage isn't the right word, but if they've done any tweaks to the legislation, then we can take that and factor it in to what happens in 2027 and 2028. But yes, we would be happy to come back and provide that when the time is right.
Because they got our work cut out for us.
No, I appreciate the information.
Oh.
I wish you had something better to say, but no, it's good to be prepared and. it's
I
good
wish I do
information.
too. You know, what they've really, I've been doing this for almost 40 years, 28 as an advisor. And up until about 3 years ago, you could talk with certainty about what things were gonna be like 3 years from now, 5 years from now, with, some degree. You can't do that anymore.
No.
Because you're at the beck and call of whatever the legislature does the next time around, and they will go in and tweak something. And it will have big impacts. And what they've done this time has huge impacts to what faces you coming up in the budgets.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. At this time, I would like to open a public hearing for the 2026 notice to taxpayers for the 2026 budget. So at this time, please feel free to come and speak on the published budget so far for 2026.
I'm on my way. Oh, standing up. Don't jump up and fall down. I was talking before. I was looking over the proposed budget, and, I believe there's some items on there, and Jim's here now, he could probably even throw this out there too. Some items in the general fund, and possibly could be moved over and paid for by TIF funds that would give some relief to the general fund. And I'm not talking about $1 or $2. There's several things there that can be paid for out of TIF funds that you're paying for right now out of general funds, of what I've seen when I was looking over the budget. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, David. Anyone else? Is there anyone online?
I'm not on.
Oh. So yeah, that's right, we'll do YouTube. Any comments on YouTube popping up? I don't know how to look.
I don't know what.
We
Okay.
don't have that ability, I don't think, like the YouTube channels out there
Okay.
where people can actually make comments.
All right. Hearing no one else wanting to speak, we will close the public hearing at 6:25 PM. All right. Any discussion from the council for the 2026 budget forms submitted? Brian, anything to add? I have it.
What I might preface a little bit is,
Yes.
Donna and I have discussed, we're gonna take the next few weeks, and we're gonna try to do a standing meeting, maybe one day per week, if necessary. We're gonna start going through to more finalize the final budget for October's presentations. So we're gonna work together on that. That's just gonna help educate me anyway. I mean, we know Donna's good at it, so, go from there. If there could be modifications, I think we'll make you aware of those ahead of time if needed.
You might, I don't know, Donna, if Janet would, how much she would charge to,
I can have Janet come in with us. Janet's very good.
she's very good.
I think Jen will contribute to that as well. She's very good with all of this, so.
I'm all for it. I think
Yeah.
in the immediate, let's just start with you and I.
Okay.
Because I just need to be brought up to speed a little bit, and then let's go from there, but I think you absolutely probably should. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind, I don't wanna muddy the conversation a little bit, let's just you and I get together.
Yeah, get that understanding and then let Janet come in and kind of see what she might project.
Yeah.
Because this is concerning for how, for the moves that I wanted to make for our police department, for, you know, what our goals were and
SDA
how
one?
this is gonna impact us.
I think the one thing I will give to that a little bit is, I spent my afternoon hearing doom and gloom of SDA one. It's not the best for us, right? What I can say is, being a part of Johnson County, I have faith in that they will be responsible in how this is handled. And being the town of Trafalgar, I think we have the recipe for success that we will be okay. We're not losing $40 million in our budget like some others are. Our losses will be minimal compared to others. We do have an Arbor Homes development that's Section 2 still wide open for growth. So we have area to grow that's already in play. I'm here now. We have Judy, we have Jody. We're seeking grants, we're applying for grants. Something we haven't really made a priority in the past, or I maybe shouldn't say it that way, but we haven't had the bandwidth to do it.
Right.
We do have the people now. So if nothing else, SCA one maybe is gonna hold us more accountable to go make the most of us. So let's see what's out there, let's seek these things, and I think we will see losses, but I am falsely confident that we'll be okay. I think we've been very responsible with our TIF districts and where they're designated, and if you look at them, they're prime for growth, they're attractive for growth, and that money will stay here as well. So, I guess, if I could just change the tone in the room a little bit, it's, don't get down yet, and like was mentioned before, we're kind of preparing for something that's kind of unknown that they can't even tell us. So, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but if anyone I sat with today on stage in this county, I think Trafalgar's in the best position of any of them, and if for nothing else, because we're a small town, and that's what's gonna make it okay. So I give you that.
You didn't help her at all.
No, and I think because biggest concern being what's with Princess Lake's projection of their increase rates. And for those that may not know this, we buy our water from Princess Lakes. That's gonna impact us too. So it's been very hard to be optimistic right now, knowing the changes that are coming from the state, knowing the changes that are happening, and then I did not wanna have to go to my neighbor again and say, not only am I gonna have to tax you here because of this change, but now we have to raise your water rate too after, it's just, it's not,
It's not our doing.
I'm
It's
having
not
a
our
hard
doing.
time being optimistic, but I
But it's happening
appreciate
to
that.
everybody. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not just
it's not
Trafalgar.
it's not
It's
just
everybody.
us, but I know.
And we feel it just as much as they do.
Right, and that's the thing, right? We're
Yeah.
all financially strapped right now, I think, so I appreciate your optimism though, and I believe in you more than anything with the team we have, everybody we have with the town. I think
We do.
we're on the right track, but
Yeah.
We made revisions to budget.
Do you wanna speak to this a little bit, since we're talking budget?
Made provisions in our budget, Brian and I. We have an option to use some TIF money like David said or suggested. And with that being said, if we do use TIF money, the budget that we projected is only $7,700 more than it was last year.
right.
So yes, we have thought about this, we're being prepared for it, we're
I
being
know, but let me
proactive.
ask you, is that gonna put you guys in a position though that you shouldn't have to be in, right? Like,
Well, I mean,
Like, you shouldn't have to be strapped. You shouldn't have to be having to make these choices of, you know what I mean?
shouldn't have to, and what we do are
I
two
know.
different things. I mean, like you said,
I know.
it's everybody. But I think with the provisions, we balance things out. This is a win-win for the employees as well as the town. And there's some other things that we can also use the TIF funds for that would make things easier for us to loosen up the general fund, like you said. And the vehicle payments are going away. Once those are paid off, those will go away for a few years until we get another vehicle. But yes, we are being proactive. We are using provisions. We are doing our best to be frugal. We have been frugal. I've been frugal for the last, since I've been here. And I think the majority of the time, we have put money away. We have saved money, and we have put money back into the bank account the majority of time. And now we're investing it. And we have a lot of money that we are investing, and we are seeing a return.
May I?
Sure.
I left that out. We have our funds invested.
Yeah.
Thank you, Donna. Because if, once again, you said proactive. Here we are, we're thinking on the fly, we're thinking ahead. You're leveraging all of our options, right? So I left that out. Thank you for bringing that up. But yeah, that's a huge benefit of what I said. So,
And,
I don't know that Princess Lakes have any investments,
Right.
and if they do, I don't think it's where we're at.
and anybody that knows me for my budget for the last several years, I have been very frugal. So much that why are you not doing that? Because we don't absolutely 100% need it. We can survive another year without it.
Yeah.
We will be okay. And this budget that Brian and I are projecting for next year, we have put a lot of thought into it. We have thought about what we could lose, although nobody knows exactly what we're losing. I've talked to the superintendent. They don't know what they're gonna lose as well. So I think that if we utilize the TIF funds, we'll be okay. And if not,
There's a couple things in your budget, and I actually sent out an email to the council. I don't know if anyone had the opportunity to read it. Your clothing allowance, that can come from TIF. That's another $9,000. Am I correct, Jim? Clothing, police clothing. Yes.
The
fuel,
vehicles.
that's another $18,000. As well as, streetlights. That streetlights will be funded from your TIF funds. So if you start trying to take some of that out of your general fund, because like Jim said, going forward, it's not gonna look as good, kind of 2027 and 2028. So if we can kind of start shifting some of that over, and funding it from TIF, then I think that the general fund might look a little better.
I think it will.
That's my opinion. That's totally up to the council. That would be my recommendation, to start trying to shift some of those items over, to TIF.
Is the TIF fund gonna be affected by this?
It will be affected,
But not very much?
I mean, isn't that
yes
what?
and no.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
here's an example. Today in front of you is, on the agenda is, development behind Taco Bell, right? It's an apartment complex. And technically, we would capture all the increased AV at 2%. But with new legislation, the property owner is allowed to take that property at some point and I'm not gonna say depreciate, but lower the AV down 33.3%. So instead of capturing 2% of 100% increase in AV, kind of willing to be responsible, we're getting 67%. So that kind of affects it.
But the value of what's gonna be built is gonna be more than what the farm field is, so, am I right?
Right.
So
but
the percentage of taxes is gonna go up, but not as much as.
not as much as we wanted.
Correct. So we still have a growth, we just won't have as much. I think,
Yeah, and I don't know how it affects the revenue from current TIF.
That math ain't mathing, sir.
That is, it's just like if the tax rate goes up a nickel because the assessed value drops, then that apartment complex would pay their taxes based on that higher nickel. And what the state's saying is that extra nickel in the TIF district doesn't apply, so they're back to that. Because you don't get as a commission the benefit of the increased tax rate because of secondary value. It's kind of like a referendum, like a school referendum, they put a tax rate, you don't get that anything else. That increment sort of passes. So I don't know that the state's taking responsibility for that calculation. And I just haven't
They
figured
don't
out.
know about it.
Yeah,
They're-
what they've said is, we're focused today on what takes place in 2026. What takes place in 2027 or 2028, we'll deal with that in 2027.
Don't we have a time limit on our tips though?
So, we've talked about this, so we don't know if our clock has started or not. Now, we have, this is back prior to my time, prior to our firm's time, 2008, I think, 2008 or 9, or maybe 7. When you purchased the town hall here, you did a lease finance mechanism, but you didn't pledge your TIF revenue to pay for the lease thing, how it worked. And we haven't been paying, utilizing TIF revenue to pay the lease on bonds for this building. So I don't think the clock has started. If it has started, we have until like 1:30 until it runs. 2032.
Cause it's six years on a,
It's 20 years from the, 20 or 25 years, 25 years from the date
it was created.
Did you opt?
that we obligated the funds.
So, because, yeah, I thought our clock started when we purchased the
This one.
community center.
No, not the community center.
So it was the town hall.
Because we didn't finance the community center, that was purchased. Yeah. We didn't obligate them funds or revenues from TIF to purchase that building. We did obligate, maybe, revenues to purchase this building, like you're saying.
Okay,
And
okay.
that's TIF 1 and 2. TIF 3 completely unaffected, that was created in 2022. So, yeah.
I
To answer your
didn't realize
question-
there was a difference between,
There is.
yeah.
Older TIF districts had a specific date. They said it ran 25 years or 30 years, whatever it is. Then the law changed over time to go to this 25 years from the date of the project. So for your proposed project that you're talking about, these projects get built, and you don't do any financing or obligation to the developer. As the law stands now, that TIF runs into TIF 2. So the legislation changes its mind.
Okay.
And so I will tell you, in the last session, there was a bill introduced that would put a limit, a strict limit on the TIF. 25 years from the date of obligation or X, because they figured out that if we didn't obligate, then it could be forever. So everything we can talk about as of today. As of next legislative session.
You don't know.
And I will say, that's another thing, why we have 3 TIF districts is because we obligated maybe again from 1 and 2 and not 3. So we're in a little bit better position than some communities that
Have
only
a-
have one large TIF district.
Right, and already started the
not
clock.
separate. So,
Oh, okay, that makes me feel better, cause I thought we were, okay, that's good.
could change.
Yeah.
in 6 months.
Do you have any other questions? Mike, did you get my email I sent out today?
I did.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
no problem.
Alright.
I got it too, thank you.
I know you got it. Thank you. You're welcome. Hey.
Alright. We are going to look at resolution 2025-005 for an additional appropriation.
Hold on a
Oh,
sec.
go ahead.
Did we talk about everything in 5?
Oh, I skipped a bunch of stuff, didn't I? I sure did.
Well, we had a separate breakout for police budget, and we had a separate breakout for, max levy and the 3-year growth, and the appeal. I know we touched on this briefly, but why don't you call them out and have some additional discussion on.
Any discussion for the additional budget funds, general, NVH? 3-year growth petition to appeal?
I'll say this, I don't think, have we ever had a petition for the petition?
Not to my knowledge.
I think you have. 2023, I believe. I think that was the last time.
But I guess all very recent, right? So in the past 10 years, or past 20 years, we've done it twice, right? Which, and in those past 20 years, we've done it twice in the last 4 years. So I think that shows some progress in development for the town, and that people want to live here, want to be here. And possibly it wasn't like that in the last 20 years. I don't know. I mean, I remember driving through Trafalgar when I was at Martinsville, and how much it's grown up in the past 15 years. So that's a testament to all of you guys, residents. You're doing a good job. So I just wanted to say that. So not everybody grows in excess of the state growth rate. You guys are, and you are for a reason.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got it. And they need to make a motion for that, yes. On the Trafalgar petition to appeal, you'll actually need to make a motion for that.
Okay.
For Charles's budget, since he actually presented 2 budgets, does the council want, do you want any input on, those 2 budgets? How they're, I mean, what we end up doing with those 2 budgets? Or do you wanna leave that just solely up to Brian and I, and you don't want any input?
I'm okay letting it be between you and Brian. Mike?
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, just my opinion, but I think that it's a good idea. It's a good idea to use the TIF funds for those extra the extra payments, but I can fully trust the two of yours judgment.
And I think just to that point, with the thought of TIF and talking about expiration of TIF, moving vehicle payments to TIF, vehicle payments expire.
Right, just like TIF.
It's not something that's ongoing, it's not a repeated expense. That was the thought process behind it. Let's choose some potential uses that will expire, and then you were talking a couple more years. So just to kind of clear that up, you had the with TIF, without TIF option. The with TIF simply just covering vehicle payments, which immensely helps out their budget.
Well, and I also wanted to bring up, and I actually sent the email out as well, because I mean, I do invest money in Trust Indiana. I sent the email out to you, regarding, once the Fed rate dropped, then, Trust Indiana, that, you know, you're not gonna see the growth there. So just be aware of little things like that. So it all has a big picture, and everything is affected. Bitcoin?
So you still need a motion
For
on this
the,
For the petition to appeal?
I'll make a motion to approve the petition to appeal the,
Increase above the maximum levy.
increase above the maximum levy.
I will second that.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 3-0. Okay. Any further discussion on the budget? Otherwise, we'll move on.
So
Alright.
Brian and Charles are gonna take care, and Donna are gonna take care of that budget?
Yeah, they're gonna review. Donna can pull in, Janet if needed. open another public hearing for the additional appropriation? Okay, so at this time, I'm going to open another public hearing, for public comments in regards to the notice of appropriation. This is in regards to resolution 2025-005, which would allow us to use those TIP funds for our police department.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
QCAP funds.
Sorry, the what funds?
CCD.
CCD.
Oh, CCD funds. Hearing no comment, we'll close the public comment section and move to approval of the resolution.
Do you guys need an explanation on it? Something we talked about last month.
Were you good, Mike?
Yeah, resolution 2025-005.
Yep.
I make a motion that we accept, resolution 2025-005 as written for appropriation approval process.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 3-0. Alright. We have the cash change drawer from our utility office, as well as the monthly report. Any discussion from the council?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, next I don't think we can approve our meeting minutes, Donna, 'cause Mike wasn't here. Can we?
He can still approve.
Okay.
Even though he didn't attend the meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve those town council special meeting minutes from July 30th, 2025.
I'll second that.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 3-0. Next is the town council meeting minutes from August 29th.
There was one thing I wanted to bring up on the, meeting minutes for July 30th. You actually updated those minutes at the August 29th meeting.
Yeah.
But then you also kind of left it open, which part in here was it? Yeah, regarding the second motion about purchasing pumps, the council determined they needed additional information about the total cost before ratifying the motion. So you had a motion at that very first meeting, but, the meeting wasn't recorded, and I didn't attend that meeting, so you ratified everything then at your August 29th meeting, but you didn't ratify the amount for the pumps. So do we know an amount for the pumps?
We had an amount for the pumps at the time, and that was the conversation we had to purchase the replacement pump plus an extra to keep on the shelf for Spring Lake Lift Station. Immediately following that conversation, we started the gratis development conversation, which that will contribute to possibly changing those pumps out. That's part of the project. They've agreed potentially how this goes this evening, that they would pay for those upgrades, which would be a different pump. So to me, right now, it seems wasteful to move forward with buying the same pumps and plus an extra, knowing that they're possibly going to not serve that lift station any longer at some point. So I would not ask the council to approve that quote for those two pumps until we know how this evening's conversation goes, and then we'll bring that back next month, maybe have a different type of conversation for that lift station. That's to clarify how that's gone down. So it was kind of a blessing in a way that it just we would have halted the purchase anyway, but it's okay just to kind of let it lay at the moment. We'll just, if you need something to retract
No, I mean,
that.
that'll be perfect, so they can go ahead and approve those meeting minutes, because then your statement will be included in today's meeting.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Okay. I think we already approved them, so
Who made the motion?
Mike made the motion, Ashley seconded.
Okay.
And then we can move to the regular town council meeting minutes on August 29th. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion passes 3-0. And then Donna, I'll let you.
Sorry, can I pause? utility office report, I'm seeing a lot of past due and outstanding balances, and closed accounts and balances almost $10,000. And I don't know if that period is for this year or if it's for year to date, I don't know. But I will say, Whiteland at some point had an attorney, it wasn't our office, that worked on a contingency basis to collect those outstanding utility costs. So you might consider that.
We,
10,000 is not small number.
yeah, I think we also added them to the system, right, Donna, so when they filed taxes on those?
At one time, and it's the, track system that's set up.
Yeah, tracks.
Trax was set up, but some of your older accounts here in town, you have to set Trax up with a social security number. So some of the original accounts that was set up here in town
Didn't have that.
didn't have that social security number on there. I believe now, the application that people fills out, does that have the social security number on there? It still does not.
Well,
See, I don't know.
I would need to confirm.
Yeah, so, and if we're not asking for a social security number,
We
then
can't
the
do
track
that.
system is actually no good.
I thought
because-
I can almost distinctively remember us changing the forms last year so that we got that information.
And I think some of those closed account balances are from many, many, many years ago, and they just keep, she leaves them on her report.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like recent closed accounts.
It's not like in the last month.
Right, I think this has gone, I think these are accounts that's gone back, I mean, many years ago. I mean, there's one person that had an outstanding balance and, she's in prison. So, I mean, it's like, you're never gonna recoup that money from certain, if it's a person that's died, you're
Well,
never gonna recoup
If they
that
die,
money.
we should file a claim against the
Well,
city.
unless, maybe we don't have any
So-
money though. But,
Brian, you need to check
but-
into that.
So,
I just did.
Oh.
So, I guess let's have this conversation. What's the expectation? We'll implement that. So I did confirm, some do, some don't.
If there's no chance of collecting the money, we need to just write it off. If the person's dead or in prison and there's no chance that we're gonna get reimbursed for the outlay that we've spent,
I think I'm leaning more towards what process are we going to officially adopt when setting up new accounts?
Wait, so you're saying we don't on some collective
Some people
social?
refuse.
some
No,
people.
no refusal, no turn on.
Right.
So I guess let's establish that this evening
Yeah.
and then we'll implement
With
that
Yeah.
effective.
a lot of utility companies.
Yeah, you
I
have to
mean,
have that information.
You have to give them your information, your social security numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to protect that information, here at the town's level. So if they're providing that information, it better be guarded here.
Yeah.
Same way that I guard the employee information that I have. So,
It has to be locked up
yes,
in
I
a
mean,
cabinet,
you
yeah.
don't wanna just, you don't wanna leave somebody's application laying out on your desk where people are coming in your office, looking at that information. There's security features that you should be following. But yeah, if we don't have that social security number on those applications, there's no way to use the track system. Track system is a great system because if they file taxes, then, and they have a refund coming back, then we would get our money out of the refund.
Yeah.
So are you comfortable, do you want to establish the process and we'll implement that process to protect our residents' socials when they do come in for these activations? How do we want to handle that?
But I have nothing to do with the utility office. That will have
Yeah.
to be established through you and Judy.
I would
Okay.
just say, any paperwork that she gets, she's putting it in her system anyway, she shreds that document when she's
Mhm,
done.
mhm.
That's good enough.
So we're not activating any new accounts, it's mandatory.
Yep,
Okay.
mandatory social, or you don't set up utility.
Yeah, I thought they had set
Let's
that
double
up.
check on that. before we
I'm pretty
go
sure
any
almost
further.
every other utility company, you have to have that information.
Right, but not every other utility company is subject to the rules of the Indiana regulatory commission. So I don't know.
Can you follow up on that for me and let me know?
Well, let's talk about
Okay.
it before we withhold.
Pending legalities?
Pending
Pending
Let
Jacob's
me ask you
response.
this, Jacob, how does every other town or city in the state of
collect
Indiana
that.
use the track system if they're not collecting that information from their utility customers?
Do they?
Great
does
question.
everybody use it? For sure.
A lot of people are using the track system.
People do think that.
Well, then most of the,
Let's double check,
yeah.
that's all I'm
But
saying.
I'm
Alright,
just saying
so
there's
yes,
an awful lot
pending-
of people that's using it.
Pending council review.
Yeah.
Consider it
we'll
done.
implement that.
You're allowed to implement the processes of that office anyway, so once Jacob says, that's your call.
No, if we need social security numbers, we shouldn't turn the water on until we
Right.
have the required documents.
Where were we? Oh, Donna.
Oh, okay. We have the APV general claims from August 28th through September 17th in the amount of $94,434.72 for approval.
I will make a motion to approve the APV general.
Second,
Motion's been seconded. All in favor say aye.
aye.
Aye, motion passes 3-0.
We have the APV water claims from August 28th through September 17th in the amount of $15,444.02 for approval.
I'll
Okay.
make, oh, go ahead.
I make a motion that we approve the APV water claims from August 28th through September 17th in the amount of $15,444.02.
I'll second that motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 3-0.
And we have the APV wastewater claims from August 28th through September 17th in the amount of $118,633.17.
I'll make a motion to approve the APV wastewater as presented.
Second,
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
And then we have the invoice for Burgett Corker, the aerial of Trafalgar, $850. That couldn't be approved at the August meeting because, Jason Ramey's son was one of the,
Right.
employees for that company, so we'll need to approve that claim.
I make a motion to approve, Burgett Burgett Crop Copter LLC in the amount of $850.
second,
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion passes 3-0. Alright, Donna, do you wanna speak to the additional funds?
And, I know that was brought up at the RDC meeting, I believe by Ashley, about maybe investing more of the, funds for mutual.
Yes.
Over to Trust Indiana. So I did send an email out on, September 3rd from the general fund. I moved over 800,000 more. From the water fund, I moved over 400,000 more.
Wow, thank you.
And then you actually received your August statement for Trust Indiana
Yep.
on
Yeah.
September 3rd. I've actually been considering moving some more of those funds over, and.
It's doing like a 4% return daily, is that what it
Well,
said?
and, you know, I mean, Mutual's not gonna be happy, if we, you know, I mean, if we take out, I mean, that's a considerable amount there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've currently, you know, got, quite a bit in the Trust Indiana fund, so,
I think we should let it ride for a little bit.
you know, I mean, like I said, you know, I have thoughts with Mutual because Mutual's a, Johnson County bank. And when you know, I thousand for each fund over there. You know, how's that affecting then your hometown bank here in Trafalgar in the long run? You know, and I think I said this before, you know, I'd hate to see that bank close up over here, because Mutual has to downsize. They already did that in Princess Lake, or Nineveh. They had a branch over there, and they closed it up. So, you know, you could potentially cause Mutual to close that branch in Trafalgar. So, like I said, I mean, I'll move as much as you want over there, but that's my thoughts, you know, I mean.
But it is getting something at Mutual, right? Just not as much.
Right, right. Yeah, we're drawing interest on, at Mutual,
Okay.
but,
Where do we have more at now? With Indiana or with
we have
Mutual?
more at Trust Indiana now than we have
Okay.
at Mutual, so, quite a bit more.
Okay.
I appreciate that information, thank you.
So, yeah, so anyway, I mean, that's, you know, that's something to consider when you're, like I said, you don't wanna see your hometown branch end up closing up here in Trafalgar because, they are a Johnson County bank.
Okay, I'm trying to read through this. So the resolution 2025-006, approving the redevelopment commission with a resolution, because we have to resolute the previous.
Yeah, so, or, are you want to explain?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. 2025-006, part of the expansion of the TIP 3 that we talked about goes from RDC to Plan Commission to Town Council back to RDC, and then it's implemented sometime probably November. All of those units have to approve, so you have, because this body is the same as the RDC, obviously you guys approved it. The Plan Commission approved at the September meeting, whenever that was, that order of the Plan Commission approving and advising you, the town council, that the expansion of the TIF district largely conforms with the comprehensive plan for the town. The next step is for the town council to sort of put a bow on it, wrap it all up, and give a final, you're okay to expand.
So we need an approval of the resolution first.
Yeah, it's just a motion,
Okay.
if you want to, motion to approve resolution 2025-006, expansion of the TIF districts, TIF District 3.
So moved. I make motion, so moved to what Jacob Bowman just
Jacob.
said.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 3-0. Okay, now we have okay, so now is the actual RDC resolution. No, now we move to the rezone, correct? You don't need anything else off of that?
Correct.
Okay. Are you wanting
Unless
to
Brian
speak on
has
this?
something else.
You said 2025-006.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay. Is that accurate? Okay. Okay.
2025-006.
Okay. Next, ordinance 2025-012, at recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Board, they are asking we rezone, or give approval to rezone the property from commercial to residential zone 3.
I make a motion to accept ordinance 2025-012, rezone the property behind Taco Bell.
And you'll need to follow the 3 steps that I have listed there. Step 1, motion to introduce, step 2, motion to waive rules, and step 3, motion to approve on final.
Alright, so you're motioning to introduce on the first read.
All right, I make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2025-012 as written. Right?
Motion seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. Next is a motion, I'll make a motion to waive the rules on second read.
Second?
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes 3-0. And then now will be the motion on, to approve,
Before you do that,
Go ahead.
would you like to hear from prospective property owner who's sitting here?
yes.
Come on down.
Would you speak your name and information?
Just give us a little bit about the project,
Sure.
Jonathan, and I'll fill in the gaps.
Yes, thanks for having me. It's good to be here. It's nice to hear all the discussion from a council that really cares. It's inspiring. So I just wanted to introduce the property and tell you a little about Gratis and what we're proposing. So I'll keep it fairly brief. First, I wanted to introduce Gratis Development. So who is Gratis Development? I started Gratis in 2019. We're a small developer based in Indianapolis. While we're small, personally, I've done over 275 million in development, so we're very capable. The vision of Gratis Development is to pursue goodness. The mission is to create thoughtful, impactful, neighborhood-centered developments that serve their tenants and communities. The reason we're so mission-driven while being a for-profit is just my personal background. My dad was a pastor, my grandfather was a pastor, so it's just part of my bloodline to serve my fellow man. So why are we in Trafalgar? What brought us here? Johnson County at large, and Trafalgar in particular is a senior housing desert. So we had a market study done, and that confirmed that demand for senior housing far exceeds supply. We love this location. It's close to amenities, serendipities. I pass through, drive right by that location 40 plus times a year. So feel like a neighbor. We're proposing 46 apartments of age-restricted, affordable senior apartments. 34 of those will be 2 bedrooms, 12 will be 1 bedrooms. 2-story building. In the petition, you'll see layout, site plan, proposed building design. Gratis, me personally, will own and operate the property for at least 15 years. They'll be required to be affordable for 30 years. A big part of my pursuit was while I'd be the owner, who would actually manage the property. I was serendipitously put in touch with Beth Klein, who's a Trafalgar native, and she would actually be the property owner. So it gives me personally great joy and confidence to know that somebody who's local, cares about our community, would be taking care of the property. So what are we asking? We're trying to, you're seeing all the demands being placed on your town already. We're trying to ask for literally nothing. So our goal is to be a good neighbor and an asset to the community. So we're just asking for a rezone. No funding from your TIF district. We'd be adding to it with the taxable property over there. The only caveat is this is it. So we are applying for funding with the state of Indiana, meaning that if approval doesn't happen today, this project would be withdrawn from the state. So if you do have any questions or concerns, I'd love to answer them tonight. So.
I have one question, and this is just, as a resident here. It's a 55 and older.
Correct.
Apartment complex.
Correct.
How are your, tenants selected? I mean, can anyone 55 years old go over there, or how?
Sure, so, per fair housing laws, you can't discriminate by tenant selection. So the only restriction is that it's affordable housing, so you can't be having an income, say $100,000 a year and asked to live there. So one of the first questions Beth will ask is, what's your annual income? Because these are income qualified. So the very highest would be close to 70,000. So it's just a pretty high affordable apartment complex. But if you make over that, you wouldn't be qualified. So aside from that, it would just be, word of mouth. We'd have a phone number on our sign. So you would just find a residence just like any other apartment complex.
If someone moves in and they're 55 or older, and then once they're there, say they have grandkids that move in with them, or a daughter with kids that move in with them, what happens? But I mean, that's interesting to me, because what actually happens at that point? If somebody, if you lease the apartment to somebody that's 60 years old, that then they move grandkids in with them, so.
Yeah, that would be subject to, like any other senior community, so there'd be annual recertifications, kind of check. So if you have your daughter live in with you temporarily, I don't see that being a big deal. But if they're living there permanently and they're bringing in income that puts you over the maximum, that would be an issue, right?
So potentially we could have people living here with
Yeah.
grandkids.
I'm not a property manager. I don't know how you handle.
It usually has a limit, like a 2-week, like 14-day
That
or
works,
21-day limit that someone can stay with you.
Oh, okay.
And then they would be subject to,
Yes, unless they needed like a caregiver or something like that.
Then it's fees, right? They get
Yes.
charged fees after so long, yeah, that's how most
Or like,
apartments
yeah,
work,
we just ask them to leave.
yeah.
Yes.
So, Brian, I
Okay,
have a question for you.
Yeah. I'll put that.
With us rezoning this to the residential 3, that encompasses any form of residential, or was it specific to the apartment base?
It is specific to this project, so if the council does this and Gratis chooses to go elsewhere, this would sunset essentially back to CB.
Okay.
So 2 points I think I'll take a moment to make, because I've had to present this at the Plan Commission. Jonathan and I have probably met about a dozen times at this point. Two topics that the community has brought forward. It's gonna raise traffic in the area. Well, with it zoned commercial now, and I referenced this, it's out of line, but they could build a Dick's Sporting Goods, a Kohl's, currently on this property, and that's gonna increase your traffic flow. Going R3, we're not gonna impact it as much. These are gonna be residents who live here, contribute here. That's one point I'll offer. The other will be, it's no secret, every day we get beat up around here. You hear a lot of negativity. This was very refreshing that I believe I forwarded an email this week to the council from a resident in the area. And we've had 2 residents stop in town hall, and they said, hey, I'm here about that Gratis project. And it's like, okay, here we go. And they said, I just want to stop by. I can't come to the meetings, but I want you to know we're in support of it. And 2 of those residents who have come forward will likely, most likely, I feel, would probably be ones that are looking forward to living there. So I'll leave that with you. Something else I'll give you, I guess I said 2, here's 3. I did travel to New Palestine, who just built this exact same deal. I went to their ribbon cutting, toured their facility. If this goes through this evening, the next step will be preliminary plans and such. I'm very well versed in what this development should look like, what it should incorporate. They did it very well in New Palestine, and that's something that I've done well to hold people's feet to the fire. The DG Market project, the AutoZone project, we're gonna follow our new standards now. So if this moves forward, if this permitting goes through, this will be a development built by standard and will not be a burden, if nothing for nothing else, like I said, letting our residents who don't want to continue to mow their grass or pay someone to mow their grass to be able to move in and enjoy their quality of life that we're working on improving here. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't work for Gratis, so I'll let Jonathan do the rest of that, but those are just facts.
You said Gratis would own the property for 15 years. So if Gratis was to decide to sell at that 15-year mark, would it still be considered a senior, like, or could it sell and then turn into just regular apartments?
Yeah, so, the commitment is that Gratis is the owner for 15 years, but the 30-year commitment is that it's senior affordable. So it would, whoever I would, if I decided to sell, which I wouldn't plan to, that new owner would have to maintain the affordability and the senior.
For 30 years?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have to say, I was in a couple meetings with the Gratis team, and it was refreshing to meet your team and hear, you know, a different perspective other than just another corporation trying to, or company trying to come down here and do some, you know, and if anyone has not had the opportunity to look at the Pines, they're published online. I encourage you. The property sounds like it's gonna look very beautiful. I think you answered my concerns.
I just wanna say, when I first heard about it, I wasn't sure. That's something that's never been in Trafalgar before. And I ran into Beth at the Mexican restaurant, and I was like, Beth, I don't know about this, and she talked me into it. I wasn't even drinking a margarita, like, it's really great that she has I'm sure she got the, you know, the passion for, well, she's just a passionate person, but what a great pick you have, but I really think that this would be a great benefit to Trafalgar. It's something that we don't have, that we've never really, I've never thought about it personally, so I appreciate the approach that you have, that it is going to be, you know, it's a community involvement. It's not just, how can we benefit us? It's, how can we benefit the community, and I love that. And Beth's gonna do a great job, no doubt.
So I do wanna say, one of my biggest concerns was the fact of that senior title through, because Mike's edition, which is right there off 135, next to Butter Sugar Flour, I don't know if you're familiar or not. If you're not, you need to stop there and have coffee, it's great. But they were supposed to be a residential senior citizen only, and then it didn't go over well, so they eventually flipped the neighborhood. So I appreciate the fact that no matter what,
But that was based on, that was high income, and that was the problem. I was trying to help them with that, and I tried my best to tell them if they needed to lower some of it, because,
yeah, they were pricey.
yes, so.
But it's definitely, I like the fact that it's gonna say the 30. I was with Ashley, I was against it at first. I had every intention to come in here tonight and tell you no. So, that just flipped me. With that,
Motion to approve.
yeah, anyone wanna make the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, ordinance 2025-012, rezone the property behind Taco Bell.
I will second that motion.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
What-
Well, that was final read.
Yeah, we did it on final read.
We just had a long,
All right,
a long break in dialogue.
okay.
So I'm just standing here to take a moment, Donna, because this happens a lot where we move on to the next topic. I want to take a moment because I know Jonathan's up against a very tight deadline, which I think is tomorrow.
Yes.
So I just want to confirm before we do move on, to take a moment and make sure we did do everything procedurally correct, because there is no buffer for Jonathan.
And they did. I had just lost track
We
because
followed
we went
each-
from 2 motions to a lengthy discussion and then the final motion. So,
That was
yeah,
final motion.
Okay.
they completed everything on track.
Just a little,
Thank you.
little out. This is how we roll.
Alright. Liberty Park sign, is there any update on that? Okay, moving on. With that, it's to you, Brian.
Come on back.
We just can't get enough of you tonight.
We've been here quite a while, so I'll keep it short as we can. I'll just jump right into a few things. Things are going really well at the moment. Moving forward, we had a water line. We all suspected it being illegal, Pearl Street. If you drove past it, you saw a wet spot in the yard. It continually stayed wet. We tested it, it tested negative. We dug down, we tested it, tested negative. We were like, this just doesn't make sense, this has to be a leak. So, the guys use our equipment, are now working back trailer to excavate the area. It was actually a pretty substantial leak. So, yeah, on our
A big
water
leak?
main on Pearl Street. And I said, I think you guys can handle it, and they said we want to. So we did that repair in-house.
Nice.
So that was kind of a big win. It's a big moment for us. That's the first time we've done that in a long time.
Yay.
It's a small win, but a huge win. So
That's
just kind of want to
awesome.
bring that up, highlight what they're doing out there.
Yep.
Yes, tell them thank you for
Yeah.
handling that in-house. We appreciate that.
Yes, and I think they were done in like 3
Just a
hours.
shout out to the guys,
They're
like,
doing a good
just the leadership that they have out there now,
The initiative,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
because they could have said, call Piercefield, and they wanted to do it
Right.
themselves. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, actually, he called because he said, hey, did you guys ever address that leak? I said, actually, we did. And he goes, I can't tell you how happy I am to hear that you didn't call me. Because he wants that for us as well. So
Yeah,
I just wanted to recognize them for what they did, jumping in and be willing to do that.
That's
So,
awesome.
and once again, just delivering you what I promised you we would do.
Please tell them thank you. We
Will do.
appreciate them very much.
Will do. I'm going to skip past a lot of fluff and get to a couple really important items. I want to bring Trent forward. Jacob, you want to kind of help with this conversation as well. This is going to be in discussion and conversation for right now, for this moment, the community crossing grant.
Okay.
I want to discuss community crossing. We've been talking with Trent, Jacob's been talking with Trent, myself, about the contracts, the agreements, what it looks like to go seek community crossing. The cutoff is October 1st.
You think you're gonna make it? Oh, October 30th.
We're shooting for October 1st. No. Come on up, Trent.
Shoot
Come on
for
up, Trent.
October 1st.
I'm gonna let Trent speak to this, but this has been in the works. We're gonna try to go after the community crossing grant, and we found Trent and the team at Crossroad to do it. And I will say, as soon as we met, Trent was in my office the next morning at 7 a.m. He said, let me in your files.
Well, he even told us he wouldn't do something he didn't think he could do a good job. So
Correct.
You still stand by that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the pressing matter is that it does, if you're gonna go after an application, we would need approval tonight, just
Yep.
because we have to get started with the work. It's due at the end of October, but we would really need to, I think I presented this last time and said, there's some things that you need to do by the end of the year that you haven't been doing if you're gonna get back in this program. Those are pretty minimal, but if you're gonna do an application in October, then we've got more to do, and we need to get started with it. And you kinda need to go into it knowing that you're gonna spend on the construction side in 2026
20%. Yeah.
about $200,000,
Yeah.
or it could be less depending on the size of job you wanna do. So those decisions don't necessarily have to be made tonight, but we would start by rating all the roads, getting asset management updated, which hasn't been updated since
while.
21, I think.
Yeah.
And then there's some other items that I mentioned that they're gonna start, they actually sent an email out this week saying that they're gonna start cracking down on ADA transition plan, which Jacob mentioned that you guys might even do in-house, which is great, but it has to be done at some point, probably by the end of the year. Your Title VI stuff going on. So there's a few of those things that just need to get, that they used to say, check the box and say you have it, but we're not checking for it, and now they just sent an email out this week saying, we're gonna start checking for these things.
Okay.
So our proposal is for kind of the nuts and bolts of the civil engineering side. So we have, you probably have that proposal in front of you?
I don't,
think
yeah,
so.
I don't.
So,
It was what I went over last
Okay.
time.
Yeah.
So it had 72,500 is the total. Again, if there are items within this that we work out between me and Brian and Jacob that you guys are gonna do in-house, then we would cut those out or cut them down if we're only doing a part of it. So for instance, the ADA transition plan, it may all be done by Jacob and Brian, but if Brian says, I need you to go out and evaluate where our ramps are, so we have an exhibit to put in that, then we would say, well, we'll just do that for a lesser fee. So,
if I could add some
Sure,
context to
yeah.
this. Yeah, so here's sort of where we started. Trent works with Whiteland a lot, Crossroads does a lot of work with Whiteland, and we took a previously negotiated agreement with Whiteland for roundabout, I can't remember which road it is, but a multi-million-dollar stuff, big project for them. We had already reviewed that agreement for Whiteland. We took that, we're using it for this with some modifications.
Okay.
So pretty much all the legal work on that end has been accomplished. last month, it was 72,500. Brian and I had a conversation, I looped Trent into this as well. I think we can accomplish some of these items in-house, and reduce some of that fee. Some things that we certainly cannot. Okay. Construction document, during a CD, we're not gonna do that. We don't know how to do it, we don't have the manpower to do it, we don't have the software to do it.
Right.
That's certainly something Crossroads is more than capable of doing, number one, that we can't do, number two.
Yeah.
Construction administration, sort of the same thing. Maybe you can do a piece of that, but, you know, when you're talking about $1 million project, you really have to have expert eyes on it, expert eyes from an engineer, and, you know, Brian's great, has a little bit of construction in him, but you need an engineer to make those things. So that's something we can't really save on. The NDOT documentation, that's something that's in Trent's wheelhouse, as well. Trent mentioned the ADA transition plan, and perhaps the asset management plan has some fees that we could reduce, and renegotiate or negotiate. So my suggestion, just sort of to cut to it, is for the town council, to make a motion to direct the town manager to negotiate and execute the CCMG agreement with Crossroad Engineers, subject to attorney.
I so move that motion. Do I have a
Second.
second? Seconded by Mike. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Right.
Yeah, we look forward to working with you. I'll work it out with these guys and we'll get started so we can get
Thank
an
you so
application in.
much.
I'm
Yeah,
looking
you're
forward to it.
welcome. All right,
Stay right.
okay.
Hey, will you just let me
Yeah,
know
well done.
what, streets you guys decide on when you, I'm just curious, when you guys have.
After we rate them?
Yeah, yeah.
We can, I mean, we may not hit a meeting in time by the end of October when we submit it, but we can certainly come back after the fact, even in November or whatever.
I'll
but-
try to go through my emails and see if I can find historically what we did last time too, cause
I have that. That's what I went through the
Oh,
files,
okay.
made copies of, so we've got that, but
I know you have to
nobody was really
reevaluate.
rating them,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and so, and things have changed in even 4 or 5 years. So we're gonna re-rate them.
Okay.
But then it's not gonna be our decision. We're gonna rate them, present them, and then you guys make the decision.
Right, right,
It
right.
just, I'm just saying that Brian may have to make those decisions by talking to you one-on-one, because we may not have time to have,
He can
do
just
that
make
through a
those,
meeting,
I
so.
would assume he
We
could
could do a
just.
special meeting as well.
Yeah.
Well, I
If
would
we
say,
have
can
one,
we
yeah.
just
Or we'll-
tell him
we'll
to
keep those, yeah.
allow him to have that choice?
I think that's essentially what we do.
Okay.
I don't.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I'll loop you in if I can.
Well,
And
yeah,
Mike,
yeah.
this alludes, I want to make a point a little bit. This alludes back to where we started last year when we said, hey, would you mind going out and rating the roads?
Yeah.
When you were doing that?
Yeah.
And that's part of what Jacob's talking about for cost savings, is I forget what the savings was. It was substantial. Do you recall what the ADA compliance was?
Well, the ADA is $6,000.
$6,000. So for $6,000, I feel like if I can reach out, I'm gonna say, Mike, if I could reach out to you and say, hey, let's go look at all of our sidewalks and ramps and just rate their compliancy based on some guidelines from Trent, and we can save $6,000 by you and I teaming up on this.
Well, what we did last time was we took pictures of all of that too, so.
So yeah, whatever the
We had-
requirements are, we can do
had
that.
good
but-
records with addresses and street names and the whole
Yeah, if
nine
we can do that
yards.
internally with Jeff and myself, that's great, but those guys are taxed out, so if that needs to be some council
Yeah, we can do
involvement, I
that.
might reach out as well, but I
Yeah.
think it's
Definitely
worth.
happy to help.
Thank you. Okay, is that? We settled there?
Yep.
I think so.
Okay, I'm gonna grab one item and I'll be right back.
Okay. Can I let Charles talk while you're grabbing?
No, he'll just be a second. Be patient. This is
Okay.
exciting. Drum roll.
I had a check to award to the town of Trafalgar for $100,000
Yay!
from Festival Country.
For the amphitheater.
So we applied for a grant to, go back over here. We applied for a grant with Festival Country. There's been a long time in the making, a lot of conversation here, and part of purchasing the community building was the beginning of that conversation. And I know this council has a huge desire to increase quality of life here.
Yeah.
And that community building will be the beginning of that. So to complement that, Festival Country believes in the town of Trafalgar and all of us here, and also hears the community and wants to support that.
Yay.
So they have awarded us $100,000, which I soak that in for a minute. That's substantial.
That's big.
Eternally grateful. It will take it will take some additional funds on our behalf that we can come back to you with. We're gonna try to start seeking some RFPs on project costs.
Yeah.
I've been having other conversations there, trying to align cost savings as much as possible. I hope to come back to you maybe in a few weeks or next month. With that, you'll be opening bid packets in front of you, and we will be kicking off some type of structure here in Trafalgar.
At the
Let me-
community center.
Let me just say,
At the community center.
4 years ago, when I brought up the idea of a town manager, I got, town's not ready for that, and so much pushback. And look what is happening. Look at you. Look at this council. This is what the vision was, and we're getting there. Right, Charles? Like, you remember, like, we were, man.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
See, you should have just said that earlier.
Well, I had to,
You had to let him
had
be
to
the
brighten the room a
deputy.
little bit,
Poor Jim.
but thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that's exciting. All right, Charles, you got something good too?
Just sit down.
I gotta check.
You don't gotta check
I
him.
gotta check that bit.
Looking for a $200,000 check.
First of all, update on the 24 Tahoe. I called them, everything is painted, they're putting it back together, and they're telling me it should be by the end of next week. We'll have it. So I'm gonna tell you guys in 2 weeks we should have it.
All right.
But like I said, everything is painted and they are putting it back together, and then they're gonna put the airbags in it, and we should be good to go with it,
Glad you'll have it back.
Hopefully you'll have it by New Year's.
hopefully.
Next time we'll try to go. Be like, just get a new one or something.
Well,
We're not gonna wreck anymore.
no, we're not.
We're just not.
Well, I meant like our exchange.
We were trying to do the best route for the town,
Yes.
and,
Yes. But it made things a little difficult for you guys.
but it's okay. Everything's looking brighter and looking up, and we're moving forward.
It's exciting.
So, yes. Speaking of that, Hometown Hero Night, huge success.
Yes. Yeah. Good.
Yes.
Good for you guys.
Thank everyone who supported it, and everything else. We started off with 200 hot dogs,
We started off with 100.
We started
and then
with
we
100.
panic bought 100 more.
and then we ran
And
out.
then we ran out and had to buy,
More.
what, 75 more?
Yeah. So it's,
Wow.
we gave away just under 300 hot dogs, is what I'm going to say.
That's awesome.
Huge turnout. The community loved it. Looking forward to doing it next year.
The children played with the charger so hard that the battery died.
Yes.
And then
With
some,
the setting off the lights
Yeah,
inside.
Yes,
sirens,
sirens,
yeah.
lights, everything.
That's awesome.
and then somebody recharged it for some reason.
They jumped it, and then started doing it again. But, like I said, huge success. The community came out, served its purpose. I'm looking forward to doing it next year.
Yeah.
I have some plans, things I want to do different, things I want to add to it. So hopefully we can.
I'm sad
again
I
next year.
missed it.
Yeah,
but
and thanks again to Donna and Tyler for donating the yard games. That was a big hit too. The kids really liked the chalk and the Connect Four, so
Oh, nice.
thank you so much for that. That was a huge hit.
Just thanks. I want to
The
thank
weather
everybody.
was perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little warm, but
I'm so sad I missed it.
Yeah.
But that sounds so awesome.
So,
Congratulations to you guys for making it. I mean, that's huge.
It
That's
was-
that was the vision, right? Like
and all 4 full-time
community
officers
and-
made it. A couple reserves made it. A lot of
Nice.
firefighters were there with their families.
yeah. Huge success.
Yeah, Jesse said he's seen people walking between the fire station and the town hall.
Well, there's a huge car show out here that the parking lot was full.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, look forward to doing it again next year.
There's one thing I wanted to ask, and this was from that last meeting, Daniel's Academy invoice, and we kind of left that, and I can read it.
I think we were
The council agreed to handle this as an addition, as an appropriation at the next meeting. So I just need to know, like, cause I've still got that invoice laying there, and I need to know how to pay that invoice.
Did we appropriate the law enforcement continuous ed?
No. appropriated CCD money for the vehicle.
We can do it. I mean,
Pay that out of the
we can
fund,
pay it and then,
reimburse
So do you wanna do the additional appropriation for local continuing education for the October meeting?
Might as well.
yeah, that's what I was thinking, we could
Okay,
bring that money into the budget and
I
then,
mean, I can hold that invoice until we do that additional appropriation. I
yeah,
don't,
they're not
I
gonna,
mean, they've never said
No.
anything in the past about not paying it.
okay. And there's some other training that I have been asked to see if we can go to, and I was gonna use some more of that money to send.
Okay.
It's in Johnson County.
Right.
So,
So, yeah, you could include all of that, and then,
okay.
yeah, but that was the only thing, because like I said, that was kind of left open at the other meeting, and
Well, thanks for bringing that up.
I wanted to make sure it was taken care of.
Okay.
Moody, have you decided on a date or anything, or what we're doing moving forward with that?
I'm waiting on a plaque to come in,
Okay.
and depending on when that comes in is when I like to schedule it, because I wanna make sure I have that before we schedule anything.
Okay.
But we'll get on it, and I've already spoke to him about it, and he's understanding, so.
Awesome.
He was at the Hometown Heroes Night too.
Yes, he
Was he?
was.
That's awesome.
One of the vendors was actually, the dispatcher that was working the night of his accident, so they got to catch up. That was really cool.
That's awesome. Nice, nice, nice.
Good things happening.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charles.
Jacob?
Following up on the amphitheater project. I guess point blank, do you guys wanna sell alcohol? Or allow people to sell alcohol?
Like beer gardens, like Franklin does?
Right.
I would think so.
I would think so too.
We like to drink beer in 2000.
So, I'm gonna have to do a little bit of looking into it, but we're between a designated outdoor refreshment area at Dora or a riverfront district. And our river will be the little stream that's on the other side of Tower Street. But that'll be our river, and that should qualify for it. But, and I don't wanna put the cart before the horse too much, but if we wanna be prepared for spring, we need to start thinking about an ordinance on Dora or a riverfront district.
Don't you think Dora would be better than Riverfront?
I don't know. There's benefits and drawbacks to both, my understanding. I'll be more prepared at the next meeting. We're also, the projected cost of the project is between 50 and 300,000. So we're looking at not a full sealed bid procedure, but a request for
Right.
request for proposals, send out three notices to interested people in doing the work, receive those back, and we open those and read them aloud here in public meeting. So that will need to be accomplished. Donna reminded me that we'll also need a resolution creating a fund to place the grant money into.
Yeah.
And do we have a grant agreement with them?
We will.
Okay.
And the one caveat with this grant is that they will be allowed, permitted to put their sign, Festival Country, on this amphitheater. And in the meeting, I said, you're paying $100,000 of the structure. I'm sure it's okay to put your name on it. So that would be the only caveat.
Do we have a say in the design though? You'll be able to be a part of that and,
I'm sure it would be,
okay.
and I believe their motion was between Ken Kosky and myself to determine that.
Okay,
And they would be
perfect.
absolutely appropriate and kind and
Yeah.
yeah, saying, maybe to insert this into this portion, that's why, Trent, I asked you to stay. We also have, as we seek these RFPs, there's engineering work as well. So we're gonna have to make sure this site's prepped for this, the soil tests are done to make sure we don't get a sagging amphitheater.
Yeah.
That's gonna include some engineering fees, as well as an overall site plan of that 3-acre property and beyond possibly, of what's the 20-year plan look like for this? A color revision of what we're seeking to do, walking trails, whatever it's going to eventually develop into, Trent and I have been discussing that project. Do you have that immediately in front of you, or that amount?
So Greg with Trent's office emailed me something here today. It was a very fluid situation, so I don't, fine for him to give me something just today. But what we would need is a similar motion to the CCMG, to just go ahead and authorize the town manager to negotiate and execute an agreement with Crossroad Engineers on the amphitheater site plan. That work? Is that a motion?
Yeah, so moved, I'll make the motion.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
There you go.
And next month, we'll have a bit more concrete numbers as to cost,
Yeah.
as to the terms of the agreement, et cetera.
So back to the alcohol thing, if it's a vendor that comes, because I don't think we're gonna have like a bar there, but if there's a vendor, there still has to be licensing because it's on our property.
So I understand that they would have, Robin actually might know better, she does a lot of festivals, right, here next to us. I understand they have to be permitted through the state, but, I don't know, we have to have some sort of special ordinance in place.
Okay.
I'm not
Simple
super-
bylaw.
'Cause I was
We're not gonna sell alcohol,
Right.
right?
Right, no.
So the city of Greenwood told me this week that when they operate their beer garden or their beer tent during an event, they will see income of around $40,000 per day.
Oh.
And
We might
those,
sell beer then.
Yeah.
and those volunteers working those beer tents could potentially be future Trafalgar Main Street people, future Trafalgar volunteers. And then you're buying it from here and it's returned to the city, or the town. So the city of Franklin, they have an agreement with their beer vendor, maybe it's Shale Creek sets up a tent.
Yeah.
You buy your tickets, the city of Franklin receives $3 per ticket, and the vendor receives $2, however it works. That's probably more in line with what we're looking at, where I'm not in the
Right,
beer
right.
business.
There's a whole lot of liability on the other side.
That's what I was.
So that's
yeah.
when you get to the ticket sale, when you get, you go to an
Yeah.
event, you get so many tickets, you turn the tickets in for a beer, or,
And then
a
we
Coke.
get a cut, yeah,
Um,
from hosting. the
Yeah,
ads of
and then
ours.
they would pay you per ticket at the end of the event. So
Okay.
it already exists, we don't need to reinvent the wheel, we just need to see which one's most appropriate for Trafalgar.
There's a lot more.
Yeah.
But it is a incredible revenue potential for Trafalgar to explore.
Well, just think about the
And option.
community aspect that this is gonna bring to like, Trafalgar doesn't, we've never had anything.
I have a question.
Give me 2 seconds, I'm sorry. Did we finish the motion?
Yeah.
Yes.
We keep doing it, I'm trying to be mindful of, we made the motion, we are okay to move forward
Yes.
with this.
You have,
Trent, let's get started.
uh,
Community crossing's priority, obviously.
You've been authorized to execute what you need for.
Okay, and I just wanna make sure we are okay. Sorry.
And this may have already been discussed elsewhere. The amphitheater, the occupancy for that amphitheater, and it's going in over by the community zone. Okay, depending on the occupancy of that amphitheater, where's everybody gonna park?
All part of the overall plan, we will absolutely determine and establish, and like I said, right now, you go over there, you're kinda like, where are we gonna go?
Right.
Especially when I tell you the next part. But I think in the long-term plan, we'll see exactly where it's gonna go. Maybe
It's
that's,
like Greenwood, you park at the bank and walk.
yeah, and I'm gonna dream here for a minute, but maybe there's a parking lot.
Blacktop my side yard and make
Yeah.
some money off
Maybe,
that.
maybe you park at the park, and maybe there's a new walking trail or sidewalk through community crossing
Yeah.
work that leads
Well,
us here.
and the church
Yeah, we
may
could buy a
eventually
new
wanna
shuttle bus
work
and
with us, and there's the
do that.
property across
Get a golf cart.
the other
Yeah.
side that we were looking
Yeah,
at, that
we
might
had
be an
enough people
option.
in
And that's what,
farmland down there on Ridgeville, shuttle back down.
that's what this is for. So
Yeah.
with that being said, it's a very real question. It's absolutely,
Yeah, look
It's
at all the
absolutely-
options, because you never know look what you've done already, you never know what you could.
And
Ew.
I just asked that question because, if we build something like that, and you don't wanna have like residents over here in this neighborhood with people parking in their yards or,
Right, right.
and then creating a huge mess. So I'm sure you probably had already thought about that.
You
but
never
I
know.
just wondered.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
and
just wondered where
that's the
those
purpose
parking
of this
was gonna be.
project,
So-
is where we're gonna do this at.
What makes me think, too, just to kind of help clarify Donna's from my perspective as someone that lives in that neighborhood, it's like the parade. When the parade happens, everybody comes over, but typically they're really respectful and don't come into our addition. They park at the library, they park at the church, so it's never been an issue.
Right.
And it's not something that I would be concerned of. I think we have pretty respectful people in our town that.
We do,
Yeah.
but we need to be
But
proactive.
We're bringing people in,
Right,
Jessica.
right.
We're not talking just
We
the
will,
respectful people that's around here.
On top of the grant, there's an additional grant conversation with Festival Country for 2026. Once we have a location to host this, they are currently in favor of sponsoring a summer-long concert series next year in 2026, every Saturday.
Okay.
Every Saturday would be a concert and food trucks.
Nice.
So when we do, it's very real that this won't just be a structure. This will be immediately put to use summer 26. So I will give you that it's not kind of like we're just going to build this, see what we're going to do with it.
Right.
It's going to open with inviting arms.
It's gonna invite people in.
Right,
To
but-
Trafalgar. So,
I guess from my perspective too, I see it as almost every other town around us has events too.
Well,
So it's gonna be a few.
and I know I've read some comments on Facebook from Barbersville when they've had events up there and
People being
people
nasty.
have been disgusted about trash in their front yards
Oh.
because people are not using the trash cans. So you just don't want, I mean, I don't live in that addition, it's not
Fair,
gonna affect me,
fair.
but it's gonna affect you.
Trent, can we put
So-
trash cans, traffic control, and signage on the list, please? Thank you.
I mean,
Absolutely.
that is, like I said, I don't live in that addition, it's not gonna affect me, but it's gonna affect someone like Jessica, so.
I'm thinking about, honestly, Donna's brought up, now it's got me thinking, the elder couple that lives on the end of my street. We're blaring music on a Saturday night, they may not like that too much, so we might also need to look into that engineering of the, sound. I know
We-
most of them have that, but,
It's definitely already being discussed.
Yeah.
Yes.
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm excited, this is good. Now to you, right?
I'm done.
I don't know.
Okay, anything else? I have to open public comment. Anybody would like to say anything before we close the meeting? Yeah, it's open comment.
Yeah, I want to make another comment. Okay. I wasn't sure what we're commenting on for.
We're not counting my.
Pick your
you are.
poison, David.
Well, I didn't want to get up and comment about something that didn't have nothing to do with it. Yeah, my name's still David Moore. No, what I have to say is, I was kind of waiting for it to come up at a meeting. Well, when we hit on the Princess Lakes water rates increasing, okay, now, people know that residents in town's not gonna be happy about about a price increase, right? Well, when they find out that we're taking $30,000 a year out of the water funds, just to put into the general funds, they're really gonna be hot.
Well, hopefully we'll have that fixed soon. My intention is to make that not happen anymore. Why it was ever done in the first place.
I know, I can go ahead and I can tell you that, because I was kinda in the, well, the town was broke.
Yeah, that's what I
The
heard.
previous town council, they didn't know the difference between wants and needs. And when I came onto the town council, our police department they was bringing their own long guns in. They didn't even have long guns. I mean, I can go on and on, but everybody's wanting to go home. But yeah, the town was broke
Yeah.
and didn't even have enough money to pay the light bill. So something had to be done. That was what done.
Yeah.
But it's never taken back. It was supposed to be a momentary Band-Aid,
Yeah.
not a permanent fix.
Honestly, it's not just been fixed because I keep forgetting about it.
But like I said, well, I mean, I'll remind you, and I'll keep reminding you, because like I said, before they start talking about water rate increases,
Yeah.
they need to quit taking that $30,000 a year out
Yeah.
of the water funds, because just think, if this had been done a year, 2 years ago, we'd have $90,000 in that water fund.
Obviously, though, what's budgeted in each line item, it all still goes to the same thing. We're all.
You gotta
it's
live within your,
supporting the
do you
town.
live within your means at home, or do you go over every week? Does
You
anybody
asking
here,
my credit
does
card
anybody
bill
here
or
go,
my checking
does anybody here in this room just keep repeatedly, overspending week after week, month after month?
I don't think we're overspending on anything for the town.
If you can't do without the $30,000, you are.
Well, we can do
No.
without it. It's
Yeah,
just
we
not
can.
been fixed.
Yeah, okay.
Can we, if I forget next month to add that to the agenda, can you help remind me? What process do we have to follow to take that back? Do we have to write a resolution?
Pilot transfers, they're considering doing away with those pilot transfers. Now, I believe those pilot transfers are already built into our revenue for 2026.
So then we would have to make sure,
I can check on that though.
so we would have to readjust our budget for 2026.
So, Jim, let me ask you, if they wanna do away with those pilot transfers, what is the process, what is the correct process that they would need to do? Just a resolution.
Hold on, let me write myself a reminder. All right.
And, you know, I sent Brian even, and I believe.
Today, I
Jessica,
think you said it.
An email with some other solutions to, you know, to get different types of revenues.
Yeah.
You know, it's, there, you know, it's things that currently we don't do, but it's things that, you know, we could start doing and contribute to the revenue for the general budget. You know, I mean, like, I believe one of them was, business permits, yearly business permits. Well, maybe you don't want to charge your businesses out there a yearly permit fee, but, you know, if that's gonna generate revenue for this town, then, you know, that's gonna generate revenue, like the bin checks. If we charge for $5 for a bin check, I figured it out, we've had 21 this year. Well, yeah, that's not a significant amount of money, but that would have bought a couple tanks of gas for the police cars. So it's just little things like that, you know, every penny counts. So if you're gonna do away with the money over here, let's try to figure out how we can generate more money over on this side.
Yep. Yeah, the cat breeding one made me laugh.
Yeah.
What? There was a town that implemented cat breeding permits
Right.
for their residents, and I was like,
What?
they come up with the
Yes,
craziest
yeah,
stuff.
permits.
We'd be in
Anyways.
trouble here with all of our strays.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Any further comment from the public? All right. Comments closed. I make a motion to end the meeting.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.